All right, let's get into it. Today, we're talking about something that's got the whole creative world buzzing. It's a new AI video model called Seedance 2.0, and honestly, it's a pretty big deal. Look, as soon as this thing dropped, the reactions were just, wow, super dramatic. I mean, you have tech reviewers saying stuff like this, that it just flat out killed the competition. So you gotta ask, right? What's all the hype about? Well, it really boils down to one thing. Seedance 2.0 is tackling some of the biggest, most annoying problems that have been holding back AI video for ages. And it's not just the tech folks, you know? We're talking about seasoned pros here. A game producer, Fang Ji, was basically floored, calling it the strongest video generation model on the planet. So the message is pretty clear, right? This isn't just a small step up. It feels like a massive leap into a whole new way of making stuff. Okay, so let's really dig into what makes this thing tick. The fascinating part here isn't just that it makes nicer looking videos. No, it's much bigger than that. It's about a total shift in what the AI is actually doing. People are calling it a director, not just a tool. But what does that even mean? Well, the secret sauce here is that it's not just spitting out pixels that kind of look like a video. It's actually starting to understand the language of filmmaking. Think about it. It's making choices about camera angles, how the camera moves, even the rhythm of the cuts. The AI isn't just a robot following orders anymore. It's more like it's trying to interpret a creative vision. And this really shows you the huge jump from what we had before. You know how in older AI videos, a character's face would kind of warp between shots? That's gone. Now you get consistency. The weird floaty physics and bad lip sync. Now we're getting realistic motion and dialogue that actually makes sense. But the two absolute game changers are character consistency and, get this, dynamic cinematography. The AI is actually creating these complex, pro-level camera moves all by itself, which makes the whole thing feel so much more polished and, intentional. So the big question is, how is it doing all this? Well, the core idea, the thing that unlocks this whole director ability, is a massive change in how we talk to the AI. We're basically moving from just telling it what to do to actually showing it what we want. Before, you had to write these super long, complicated prompts that looked more like code, just trying to control every little detail. But now there's this all-around reference mode. And it lets you give it up to 12 different reference files. I mean, just think about that for a second. You can give it a picture for your character, a video clip for the camera style you want, and even a storyboard for how the scene should play out. It's like you're handing the AI a creative mood board instead of just a to-do list. So yeah, the whole workflow is just way more natural now. You just pull together your creative ideas, your pictures, your video clips, write a quick, simple prompt to connect the dots, and then the AI just takes it from there. It looks at all your references and directs a video that actually matches what you had in your head. This really opens the door for so many more people to create high-quality stuff. Okay, that's the tech, but what does it all mean in the real world? Like, what can you actually do with this thing? Let's break down a few examples of how this director AI is already changing the game for creators. All right, first up, e-commerce. If you've ever tried to sell anything online, you know that making a good video ad is a huge pain. It takes time, it takes money, you need gear. Well, that whole equation is changing, and it's changing fast. And this is where that whole reference idea really clicks. You can take a single photo of, say, your new coffee mug. Then you find a cool reference video, maybe a slick shot from a luxury car ad, and you just feed it to the AI. It'll take that high-end camera move and apply it to your mug. Suddenly, you've got this amazing, professional-looking commercial without the professional-level price tag. But it's definitely not just for selling stuff. This is a surprisingly powerful tool for telling actual stories. I mean, think about it. Short skits for social media, or even mapping out ideas for a bigger film project. It's pretty versatile. And this is where that director AI really starts to earn its name. You can give it a script or even just a few storyboard images, and it gets it. It understands the sequence, the plot, and then it generates a whole multi-scene story. And the whole time, it's keeping your characters consistent, framing the shots, and managing the pacing to tell a story that actually makes sense. Okay, and for our last example, let's get into what might be the most eye-popping and maybe the most controversial use case for this tech, and that's its crazy ability to copy existing styles and movements with pinpoint accuracy. What this means is you can basically clone motion. So picture this. You take a viral dance that's all over the internet, You give the AI a photo of a totally new character. Could be a cartoon, could be anything, and boom. It spits out a new video where your character is doing that exact dance with the exact same camera moves. It's kind of like having motion capture, but without any of the suits or sensors. Now, as you can probably guess, a tool this powerful, well, it opens up a whole can of worms. When you can create video this realistic, this easily, the potential for misuse is huge. And the conversation about the ethics of it all is definitely getting louder. The level of realism here has gone from, wow, that's impressive, to what some people are calling straight up scary. And it forces us to ask a really big question. Like one person put it, what happens when an AI can 100% simulate you? So you end up with this classic dilemma, right? On one side, you've got this incredible tool that could empower creators and make filmmaking accessible to everyone. But on the other side, you've got some really serious risks. We're talking misinformation with deepfakes, stealing copyrighted styles, and of course, the impact on jobs in creative fields. To their credit, the developers seem to be aware of this. After the first wave of reactions, they put a pretty major restriction in place. You can't use photos of real people as the main character in a video anymore. It's a good first step, for sure, but the bigger conversation about what rules we need for this tech, that's really only just getting started. But no matter what challenges we have to figure out, one thing is absolutely clear. We're watching a fundamental change in how we create and tell stories with video. And let's be really clear about this. This is not just a better version of an old tool. This feels like a brand new category of creative software. We've shifted from an AI that just makes little clips to an AI that can be a creative partner, a real collaborator that helps you direct a whole story. And so that leaves us with one last kind of mind-bending thought. As AI gets better and better at the art of filmmaking, the camera work, the editing, the emotion, you have to wonder, what does that mean for human creativity? Will the next great storyteller be human or an algorithm? It's a huge question, and one we're all going to have to figure out.